Irish Payroll Association, or IPASS as it is known, is Ireland's premier provider of payroll, PRSI, PAYE, VAT training and qualifications, and is the only representative body for payroll professionals in Ireland. Francis Stackpoole became an accounting technician in 1990, and this year was also conferred as one of our first fellow members. Since graduating with us, Francis completed the IPASS qualification and now in fact works as a technical consultant for the organisation. Speaking after Francis, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Eamon Corcoran, who is one of the country's leading authorities on the operation of the PAYE and PRSI system and is the Chief Executive of IPASS and co-author of the IPASS book. But first, if you please welcome Francis Stackpoole.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. And as Gay says, my name is Francis Stackpoole. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Irish Payroll Association, where I have been working for the past 2 years. I'd like to share with you how I progressed from accounting technician to the IPASS qualification and the experience I gained along the way. Many years ago, during another recession, my job became redundant and I found myself on the job market. I had some accounts admin experience, but no actual qualification. So, in order to increase my chances and to give myself the edge, I decided the best course of action would be to attain a recognised qualification. With this in mind, I decided to study for the accounting technician qualification. While studying, I began to work as a temp for a company that had just undergone a management buyout. There was lots to do to bring all the accounts up to date and to take on quite a substantial debtors list. But it was a great experience and I learned so much along the way, both from my studies and from my practical experience. After a short while, I informed the agency that I wouldn't be available the following week because I was sitting my accounting technician exams. But fortunately, the company were very much in favour of the qualification and asked me back when my exams were complete. Within a couple of months, things settled down. The company asked me if I'd like to take on the task of payroll, as the agreement they had with the former company was coming to an end. I really enjoyed taking on the task. I suppose at the start, like everybody else, I thought it'd be just a matter of keying in a few figures. The computer would take care of everything else. But it didn't take me long to discover that there's a lot more to payroll than I realised. The work was always busy, never boring, and I found it very rewarding. And in fact, after a while I realised that, rocket science wouldn't really have been a challenge after all. Within a few years, though, we were introducing productivity bonus schemes, time management systems, and again I was able to draw on what I had learned through my ATI studies. Anyway, 18 years, 2 children later, still processing payroll for the same company. Although at this stage the payroll function had grown along with the company, and I was now processing payroll for over 300 employees every week, with responsibility for in excess of €200,000 each week. My goal had always been to take a career break when my children became self-sufficient, and I did this in 2007. However, having spent so long working in payroll, I decided it's about time I did something about getting a recognised qualification to support my experience. So I decided to study for the Certified Payroll Technician with IPASS. This time I had a number of concerns. I had no problem with the course material, no problem with the content. My issues were more along the lines of, how am I going to walk into a classroom after all these years? Will I be the oldest person in the room? Will I be able to keep up with everybody there? More importantly, why don't I stick to something really important, like knitting? But I took my courage in my hands and went ahead, and I have to say that from the minute I walked into the room, I didn't feel out of place at all, just part of a group of like-minded people. And we shared similar experiences and problems, and we learned so much from each other. And it turned out I wasn't the oldest person in the room after all. Believe it or not, I actually went on to study for the Diploma in Payroll Management with IPASS. And even though I processed payroll for 18 years, there was so much I didn't really understand and know. So in that regard, I feel I've really learned from my studies. Indeed, I was greatly honoured this year to be awarded a fellowship from the accounting technicians. And that really copper fastened for me my experiences and my achievements, and was very gratifying indeed. The IPASS qualification, along with the ATI, marry very well together and are both generally required by prospective employers now. Well, the career break didn't last very long. And as I said, I've been working with IPASS now for just over 2 years, and I'm still learning every day through the helpline we offer to our fellow professionals. And if, like me, you feel you'd like to study for a qualification but you're a little bit apprehensive about going back into the classroom, please let me reassure you, you really will enjoy it, and it may turn out to be the best decision that you ever made. Finally, I'd like to thank the accounting technicians for their invitation here this evening, and thank you all for your kind attention.